Go ahead and ask.
Just never easy, is it? I mean, you've got anytime you.
No, that was a reality jolt when started to see that opening of January and know that we had to start at Tennessee and then go to Auburn on back-to-back Saturdays. Then that 1 week where obviously it's at Auburn, then we come home for Kentucky and Florida. You almost think when the first copy comes, somebody sent you a prank, and then you realize that's not true. That's the way it's going to be. But you've got to play those teams anyways, obviously, and I think once you look at it and you kind of take a deep breath, when you see that schedule, it just kind of goes to show just how great this league is. Because you can't look at the schedule at any point in time and say, well, we can sneak one in here, or, we could be tired and get through this. I mean, there's none of that. I mean, you got to be at your very best every night. But that's why it's such a great league. And that's what's going to make it the challenge, but it's also what makes it fun.
5 straight weekends at home, a big deal?
I think it's a huge deal. I really do. It's paramount because it gives us opportunities to get a lot of people to sell out the building. And certainly, we don't want to just sell it out on the weekends. We want to be able to do it on the weeknights. But to have that, to make sure that it works well for everybody, right? Those turn into recruiting weekends for football and the other sports. There's a real, it's pinpointed, right? Like Georgia basketball is playing on those days. And you're obviously dealing with other people and other programs on those days, with college basketball it being in full swing, but it really isolates it for this community, and I think that's great.
Would you take that trade-off? That chance to have that kind of momentum for the way you guys got open? Like you said, you looked at the schedule and thought maybe it was a prank, but you do get 5 games that can give you a lot of momentum in January.
Well, I hope so. I haven't even really studied the whole February part of it yet and going into March. I did kind of get stuck on those first 5 games, but or first 6 games, first 5 games. But we just got to keep getting better. I know that sounds like coach speak, but it's true. And we've got to go in and we've got to be able to understand, okay, what's it going to take to win in this league? Well, you're going to go on the road at Tennessee and go on the road at Auburn right off the bat. You're going to get that figured out. What's it going to take for our fans at home to help us get through things? Well, we're going to learn that real quick too when it comes to Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Florida. So it's going to be a learning process in so many ways. I know that, but we've got to keep figuring out what's it going to take for us to not only continue to get better with what we're doing here, okay, and how our team is improving, but what will it take to win in this league? And the bottom line, it's going to be your execution has got to overcome a lot. Your ability to play with physical strength and have that mental toughness be where it needs to be. And you want that to continue to grow no matter where you're at in this season. You don't want to level off. And we just got to be able to make sure we don't lose confidence going through a schedule like that. Like my first initial fear would be that, right? But that's always going to worry like that. We just got to keep building up. I think the players will be extremely excited. I think our fans will be excited. And we just got to make sure we understand how little margin for error we have with an opening like that.
Tom, is there a big benefit not having back-to-back road games at all in conference play?
I didn't even realize that. I haven't looked at it that close. I don't know. You've got to play those probably. With the ability to try to not only create some momentum, but if you get into a tough spot on the road, that at least you're coming back home, even though the home doesn't cure anything in a great league, and it's certainly not going to cure anything here. We've got to be at a really strong place, but I guess I hadn't even studied it that close. I guess I like it. I'll say that's a positive. That it?
Where are you at with the development of this team? I know last time we checked in, you were checking out. They were handling adversity well.
They're going through adversity. I wouldn't say they're always handling it well, but you got to put them in those situations. We're in our 2nd week since school got back. We're going to go at 3:30. We'll go again tomorrow morning, and I like it. We're mixing it up with having small groups. This week, last week it was 3 groups. This week it's 2 groups, and then today and tomorrow will be team. The biggest thing to me, with as early as we're starting school, and I was like this even when we started later in August at Indiana, is you don't want it to feel like practice yet. They're here for 8 weeks in the summer. It's intense. We went through our periods where, guys are like, where's the break, right? Like we're going hard in the morning and conditioning and we're running, and then we come back in the afternoon and we got all these expectations of what we got to get done. But I think they're learning. They're coming through that. But I think it's also good in the setup. You take 2 days off a week, and we try to make sure we're doing that right, so that they're so busy with school that they don't get any rest, but there's also some chances to get some rest in that. But they're growing. There's no doubt about it. We're not even close to where we'd want to be team-wise, because we're trying to get so many things in a small group and get so many reps. But it's good, like today and tomorrow, to have a view going into next week of what we even, what's coming across, what's not coming across, where's our retention, and get a chance to see them more in live competition. So we're just trying to mix it up.
Standing out, any players that you want to throw some?
No, I don't know if I'd want to do that yet, because we haven't competed enough. There's some guys that have done a really good job when it's been 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. Some that I'm expecting more out of. We've got to get we got some guys right now that when there's a scoreboard and when there's a winner and a loser, they're losing too many, and we've got to figure, okay, why is that? We keep mixing up groups, so it's not like there's any first team, second team type of thing, but it sounds corny, but it's really true. You got to get guys to understand, all right, and you got to look at them and say, do they hate to lose more than they like to win, right? And it doesn't matter if it's 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1, 5-on-5, and it certainly doesn't matter if it's August, all right, because if you hate to lose in August and September, there's a chance you're going to hate to lose in December and January too. But if you're okay with it and you can bounce back, I don't hear enough, let's play it again, or we want a rematch or something like that. And I know sometimes we're at the mercy of the clock with what we have, with the time frames that we're in, but that's going to have to start to be addressed a little bit more right now. And because we have got to have a team. We're going to get physically stronger. We are. We're going to get mentally tougher. I think we're doing those things. Our bodies are changing. Our game is improving. But the competitive mindset, that's very, very hard for a coach to change. I mean, you can put them in a lot of situations, but they've got to be willing to do that. And that's as important now as anything else that we do in getting that established. And it's easy to say, well, it's August, it's summer, it's mid-80s out there. It doesn't matter. You give me somebody that's okay with losing in August, and he's going to scare me to death when it's time to win the end of the game in December or January. And we've got to get that across in a good way, right? Because in a good way, but we've got to get it across. That's not the way we're going to approach it. And we're working at that.
Does the schedule, do you think, bring it a little bit more into focus? I mean, now it's real. Now you see how quickly, as you said, you jump right into the frying pan.
I haven't talked to them about it yet. The one thing I didn't do is I did not bring that out. I think they know we play Kentucky at home and some of the other home games, road games. They know that. But we have not talked about it. We'll talk about it probably tomorrow. We'll probably. I'm sure they've already seen it. They're already on social media. I'm sure they'll have their opinions, but I didn't post it early in the locker room. I followed league protocol on that and kept at it. But we'll get into that here pretty quick. But that's a short term, right? Because this team, most teams, and especially in this league, but our team for sure is not going to have the ability to walk into any game, starting with November 9th, and think that we're not giving any points because we're at home. We're not giving any points because we're in the SEC. All right, we've got to go earn everything that we get. And we're in the process of that. And again, I know that sounds like corny coach speak, but it's real. I mean, it's absolutely real. And we just got to work at it constantly and keep finding situations to put them in that help bring that out. And now we got to call it out a little bit more. We got to call it out a little bit more. It's not competition to see how tired you can make somebody. Okay, it's not competition to see how much you can fatigue somebody or how much you can give them. It's competition. How much does winning mean to you based on how much do you hate to lose? And it doesn't mean you throw the balls at the wall and kick garbage cans. You can see it in somebody's spirit and demeanor, and we've got to build that. We've got to build onto that, I guess.
Did you fill the ops position that opened in June?
No, not yet. We're in the process of filling positions right now. I was granted some other ones, and we're putting that together, and we still have a couple to go.
What are the positions that you were granted? What are the ones you're going to be adding?
Well, we've added a director of basketball strategy that will really oversee all the video operations. We've added a position that's basically overseeing all the creative content in there, where we're more centralized with that. And there'll be some other hats in there inside of analytics. And we have Matt Buckland's old position as operations director to fill. And then I have another position for director of player personnel if we decide to use that. But I've been very, very selective. In some of the positions, I waited until the ruling came down. Are you familiar with that, the August 8th? Because if they would have allowed 2 people to go on the court, I wanted to make sure that we'd had 2 people that could fulfill that, because you had to be 7 years or less removed from college to be able to fill that, or to be able to go on the court. Well, that didn't pass. So then we were able to start looking in other directions. But it's not a rush to me. Getting your staff set early on is the rush, even though you don't want to make a mistake with it. But filling positions that you only may have to replace down the road because it didn't work out because you moved too quick, having people around just to have people around, I don't want to do that. Everybody, you know, they got to fit the role, okay, and the role has got to fit them. But most importantly, it's got to be the chemistry of the staff. Because if you have the chemistry in your staff right, you got a really good chance to have the chemistry of your team right. But if you don't have the chemistry of the staff and the cohesion of the staff, to me, it's 2 things I talk about with our current staff and anybody that I'm talking to. Because I've been a part of programs and administrations when you have it, and I've been a part of it when you don't have it. You've got to have support and you've got to have alignment. Got to. It's not about me walking in every day and looking for consensus. It's about, you know, people that are prepared, they're ready to go, they understand their job, they want to do their job extremely well, and they want to support the other person in their job. Not necessarily do it for them, or always could do it better. That can kill you. And when you've got a new group of people that you're building, take some time to get to that. Because I'm still learning. I'm still learning Georgia. It's a little over 5 months now, so I'm still learning things and learning what we need. So we're functioning at a pretty good spot. I just want to make sure anybody that we add really fits what we're doing and where we're going.
So that's three
question.
new support staff positions?
Yes.
And one more last question.
What young guys? Everybody in now? Anybody hit the ground running?
I think they have. Really, you know, one name, Ignis Sarjunas. He's been here without being to the United States. You know, before the first time he was in the United States is when he made his visit here, right? First time he or his family had ever been here. So he's finishing his 3rd week being around Georgia. And my first time seeing him play live was last week. You know, I'd seen him on film, obviously, but I'd never seen him live. We're happy. We're real happy with that son. You know, he's got strong legs. He can shoot the ball. He's very skilled. He's been well trained. I mean, he's got to get bigger and stronger. He's got to get used to the college game. He's got to get used to the speed of the game. It's early on, but I'm really, really happy that we signed him. So our young guys have done a fantastic job through the summer, and now having Ignis in is really good. And we also added a walk-on from Memphis named Jack Herring that is probably pushing 6'9" more than he is 6'8". And he was already coming to school here, and we have him, and so we're excited about him too.
How do you pronounce his last name? Ignis?
Sarjunas.
Sarjunas.
I guess. That's what I'm going with. So.